Welcome to the Daily HiFi Podcast. We do this every Tuesday, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 Eastern. And we've got a couple of guests today. Right now, we've got Elon Osborne. We've got Aaron from Aaron's Audio Corner and Mr. Joe and Tell. Did it happen again? And
Not
by the
as
way,
always.
this is show number 200. Woo, woo, woo.
You.
Whoa, no way.
Yep.
Yeah.
Elan's over here throwing up gang signs.
What?
Hey, peace. I did
Look at that, man.
Oh, okay. All right.
Man.
I'm editing the
That double
video
piece.
for TCL, and there was a moment where like I passed by Woody from Woody Sound, Brian from Woody Sound Up, and Elon, and it looks like he's like doing peace, but it almost looks like the Shocker a little bit. And I'm like, damn, do I leave that in? Is TCL gonna get mad?
Yeah. It's called the half shock.
Yeah, right.
Oh,
But
thank
yeah.
you, Fred. He says, what a handsome crew. I think we're like, maybe we're the young guys, even though we're not even young.
Who paid him
Yeah.
to say that?
You know what? I always feel young. Do you guys feel young?
It depends.
Yeah. Well,
How
it
about
depends on who I'm around, I guess.
Okay, so when you're around other audio
Oh,
in the audio industry, do you feel young?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, like at CEDIA, I felt pretty young.
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So yeah, we'll be talking about CEDIA today. So Chana and Elon, you guys were over there. So definitely gonna mostly be about that. I wasn't able to go, but hopefully next year. I'd like to go next year.
There's always a next time.
But yeah, I have some questions about some of the stuff that you guys saw, and yeah,
and heard.
Yerd.
Yerd.
But real quick, Aaron, we haven't seen you in a while. What's new with you,
Oh,
man?
What's new? Nothing. I haven't made a video in over 3 weeks, and I can't bring myself to do one, but it feels good. Yeah,
And
man,
a bit
no
of
pressure.
news.
That's what it's like, man. When you're just like, I'm gonna take some time away and get some other stuff done, focus on other things.
I haven't made a video in a long time. I have so many upcoming ones.
Me
My
too.
excuse is I'm cleaning up the house because summer, right? It was summer, so pretty much everything had to do with like doing like house projects and setting up a patio area with my cold plunge, and
Oh, you were on a cold plunge kick.
that's
What
what
like there's no YouTube videos happening now. I got to set up my ice bath outside.
You were here when that came, right? You were here when the stuff, but it messes up the whole house, right? So everything gets messed up when you're doing projects like that, right? So everything is really messy and it's hot. Elon, you're in California. Is it hot over there? Like ridiculous
dude,
hot. Like,
It's like up here in Northern California where I am, it's like the hottest part of California.
what temperatures were you hitting?
In July, we hit a record 119. Uh-huh.
In
Okay,
July?
you're next level, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so think about that. Think about 119. That's over here was like 105 the other day or something like that. Pretty hot.
Yeah.
But even though it's air conditioned inside, the last thing I want to do is set up a bunch of lights. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And then try to film and try to look like somewhat decent with your face shiny because you're sweating, setting up the lights in the first place.
Yeah.
So, and then I know you do a lot of B-roll type of stuff. It's a lot of stuff to do when it's over 100 degrees.
Well,
So-
plus the lights themselves emit a lot of heat too.
That's what I'm saying. I don't want to do it. So that's my excuse. House projects, and it's summer. I took a little summer vacation.
Yeah, dude.
So that's it. But I don't know if you've ever done that, Elin, but do you ever feel like, all right, you take a break and then you're like excited to get back to another video? Like,
Yes.
I want to film something now. Now it's the opposite. Like, I want to bust out the camera. I want to, see what this looks like. Anyway,
It seems like to me, you guys, both you and Aaron, just took like a little mental health break.
Yeah. For
Right.
sure.
Necessary. Yeah.
Yeah.
hell yeah, of course. Life's not all about working,
No.
and this
I
is
mean,
work.
we lucked out. I mean, lucked out a little bit. I mean, it was raining when we got pretty much to the hotel and checked in. It started raining,
Mhm.
so that was pretty pretty interesting. I'm like, oh, thank God we get to miss the like super duper hot stuff for like a few days. So that was nice.
Yeah, man.
By the way, you look cool over there, Chano. You got the matching shirt, the background.
Yep, I noticed that
Good
too.
color. You gotta make note. That's another good color on you. It matches the whole situation there. Just no green screen, I don't think.
They're
No, there's
all
no green
good
screen.
No, I'm saying I don't think it'll work.
Look at him. Uh-oh. Hey, sit back down, man. You might hit somebody with that thing.
So, oh, by the way, we didn't say what's up to the folks in the chat. That's usually
Hi.
what we do.
Hi.
Shauna,
Hi,
All right.
chat
Yes.
people.
I'm also eating. All right. Who do we got here in the chat? True Voice of Reason is in the house. Mr. Marv, what is up? Tim Perry, editor at large.
No.
Everyday J is in the house. I am the one for you to envy, Mr. Fred, Uncle Fred.
Yep.
Matt Damon's brother, Josh Damon, is in the house. Josh Damon. Angela, of course. What's up, Angela? Horizon Home Theater is in the house. Chana's still eating on the show. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I tried to eat half an hour ago, but then I had to like get what do you call it? Pictures in a album for this show from the show. Anthony, what's going on, Scruff? How are you doing? And Jonathan, what is going on? All right. So there's one here, let me get into my photos thing. There's one demo that we got that kind of ruined Elon for like everything else, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. Until we got like the big boy.
Yeah. So let me share a screen.
It was the Onkeos, the Klipsch soundbar.
Oh gosh.
No,
Correct.
but it had to do with this subwoofer here that Jim is standing in front of.
Yeah.
So let's paint the scene here. JBL synthesis. What was this? Was this Thursday?
Yeah, it was Thursday.
That was Thursday. Yeah, so Elon signed us up for this tour. And since I already interviewed Jim, Elon was interviewing Jim. And this subwoofer, let me see if I can zoom in. There we go. This subwoofer is dual 15, and their demo room had two of these up front and then two in-walls in the back, Elon, is that right?
Correct.
Two dual in-walls in the back, but they weren't, were they the 15s or?
I think they were the 12s. So
12s,
dual
right.
12s, but two of the dual 12s.
Right. So altogether, 1, 2, 3, 4 15s and 4 12s. The 12s were in wall, the 15s were up front in this enclosure here.
Those are 15.
And, what's up?
Those look smaller than 15.
They look like 10s, huh?
They do,
Yeah.
don't they?
It's the surround and the giant dust cap. I was
Yeah,
going to say something about the ratio of surround to dust cap. I like it. It looks buff. You know what I mean?
It looks like a car stereo, like
Dude.
a car, like a box
Right.
you would, yeah,
That's the
pre-built
exact
box.
same thing I thought when I saw that picture.
Yo,
What's up?
Haterade Cowboy in the house. What is up?
What's going on,
What-
guys?
Yeah.
What is up?
Why you gotta come in trying to sound all sexy though? Yeah.
How's it going, everybody?
Representing
up?
Klipsch. Look at that.
We're just
boom.
gonna choose more. All right, so Chana was talking about the subwoofer, and we were saying how those don't look like 15s, but you're saying those are definitely 15s.
That's what they said.
Yeah, what is this? This was like $8,500 or something like that for one of these.
Yeah. Yep.
Jordan, did you get this demo at JBL Synthesis?
The last day on Saturday, right before I left, I was able to get. I think they were doing like they did that last one, and I was able to get in there.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I missed it the last couple years, but I was kind of hanging around. Actually, they had closed off the entrance to the main door, and they were like, "We're not even letting people in there anymore." So they told us to go around the back. But yeah, it's pretty awesome.
I don't know how they did it with you, but like the first part of it was boring as shit. Oh my god, I was about to fall asleep, and it's like they had 2 systems in there. Did they run both systems for you too, Jordan?
I think
Or
so
no?
because I heard someone ask. They were like, "Hey, what system is this?" And I kind of threw me off, and I was like, "What?" And I was like, "Oh, they've got 2 systems in there." So I don't even know which one was which because they didn't. I don't know what they did in yours, but they didn't do any type of really like intro. They just went straight into demos.
Oh, okay. So the first system was $40,000. That wasn't this subwoofer, and then the
Okay.
other
Right.
system was like 150, right?
Yeah.
Elon?
Jeez.
150,000. Yeah.
And I was just like, they were playing this like scene from Ghostbusters, and I was like,
Mhm.
why is this so whack? And then
During the
then, like,
$40,000 version.
yeah, that was a $40,000 one. And then all of a sudden, I like kind of nodded off a little bit because, mind you, our Thursday started at 6 in the morning and ended at 1 a.m. Friday. So it was a long day, and this was like
6
right in
a.m.?
the, yeah. Elon and I were up, like chatting, like, yeah.
Tell me about
until,
this
like,
room though. You're getting off the thing.
Okay.
You're not
Sorry,
talking
sorry,
about
sorry,
it.
sorry.
I want to know about it now.
Soon as that bass hit and like they changed, oh dude, it was over. It was over.
Yeah.
Those subs like kicked major ass.
Because
was-
the thing that I noticed the most, or the thing that stood out to me the most, is once that bass hit, I could feel my shirt sleeve start to like flutter a little bit. I was
Well-
like, damn, that's pressurization right there.
I don't know about you guys, but so I sat on the front row. I was like on the front row towards the edge, and I could see the screen shaking. Like I don't know if you guys noticed that, but I was like, "Oh snap!" Like the screen is shaking. So that kind of took me out a little bit, but I mean, I got over it, but it was pretty violent in there.
I like
Yeah.
that. Violent
Yeah.
bass.
But I mean, yeah, like that was because I mean, like Chana said, that kind of spoiled me for the rest of any other demo that I went to.
Oh yeah, because you
Yeah.
saw it so early.
Yeah.
It
I
was one of the
mean,
earlier
okay.
ones.
So we went to the Sony. Oh, let me grab a picture of the Sony. So we went to Sony first. That was the press event.
We went
and
to
Sony
two
had-
Sony demos.
So what day was the Sony press event? I didn't get invited to that, so I don't know.
It was right
Thursday
before
morning.
we ran into you,
Okay.
Jordan.
Oh, so when I got there, they had just finished then.
It was upstairs, but we saw you at Epson, right?
Well, no, I saw you at Sony because remember Mark Henninger had his contraption.
Oh yeah, I got
Oh,
a
right.
picture of Mark. That's right. Here, let's show a picture of Mark.
Oh my god, that is
I
the
got a
most
video
ridiculous
of this
thing that
thing.
I've ever seen, man.
You see the contraption? It's his all-in-one, like
Oh man.
all-in-one, a little Johnny Five robot. It's all wheels.
Camera situation. Oh, that's the light. Okay.
That's the light.
Yeah.
He uses the iPad as the recorder, and then he's got a camera here. He's got a cell phone here.
He's
There's
got a
another cell
gimbal.
phone down here on and then he's got a gimbal on the side of the thing. And he was just wearing all white, like this guy.
Two things I really like about this is that his backpack matches.
Yeah.
Like if you zoom out a little bit,
Yep.
the backpack matches, and also so sound and vision. Like he's a pro in the industry, right?
Yeah.
He's been around for a long time.
Yeah.
Long
He's
time.
also got the chain. He got the. He's looking like a pimp.
Oh man, that guy is something else.
That's awesome. All right. So okay.
So yeah, I ran into you guys up there.
On the JBL room, is there anything else aside from just the bass?
Oh, I mean, it just sounded amazing.
Yeah.
Obviously, the bass filled everything else in nicely,
Mhm.
but yeah, highs were high, but not too bright. Dialogue was great. The attack, just the snap,
Okay.
just the power of just everything that was coming out of those speakers was incredible, which is crazy because they definitely took a lot more time to set up that room than they did when Chana and I went to the Harman experience at CES 2023 in Vegas.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Because we sat in on a synthesis demo and they played Top Gun, and I was like, dude, this sucks.
I heard that from
Like-
someone else at CES too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like
It was a
maybe they had
tiny
to.
room.
Yeah, they had to put it up like super fast or something. I don't know, but it was
Yeah.
nowhere near what we heard.
It was
at
pretty bad.
CEDIA.
I mean, that room is smaller than this one I'm in now. Yeah, like I was just like, okay.
Dang.
We also got a demo of at JBL their new modern audio lineup and the speakers. What did he say the rooms were like 5,300 or something like that for one? Like all the speakers?
That was the more expensive one, and then I think 3,800 was the less expensive one we
Yeah.
did first.
So I know everybody like was clowning JBL about their ad. You know,
Yeah,
those-
dude. That cringy ad. Yeah.
Is that with the
Why?
girls?
Yeah, yeah.
But like,
But like,
Uh-huh.
I thought it was good. Like, come on.
I mean, this
That's
is like
right.
a system I would actually use.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, I get it. They're trying to appeal to an audience that really just doesn't give a shit about
Yeah.
audio in general.
I mean,
So-
that's kind of what he said. He's like, this is for people that just they're not into audio, but they want something. So we're just kind of giving them something.
JBL, don't
keep
ever make a
essentially-
video like that ever again. Keep your money in the research department,
Yeah.
Yeah.
or if you're gonna do it, go a little bit harder, because that was some budget stuff that I saw when it came to that ad. I'm just saying, they do great stuff, but that ad wasn't one of them.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
we're
great.
what was that? You like the ad?
Heck no. No. I think it was funny how many old white dudes were all upset about it, though.
Yeah,
You
dude.
didn't like that.
Yeah. Bunch of old farts bitching and moaning.
So were there booth babes other than Mark over there?
Actually,
Oh,
there
yeah.
were.
There were
There
a
were-
couple. Yeah.
What was the name of
Alright.
that company? Those girls were walking around in like these.
All the blue and white.
Yeah,
I don't know. It was
Yeah.
some weird
it was
stuff.
kind of weird.
I mean, yeah.
I don't know what they were
uh,
doing there. I mean, I know why they were there, but they knew why they were there too.
Hey, man, they were getting paid.
They didn't do a good enough job if you can't even remember the name of the company. They messed
Yeah.
up.
That is
Well, it's
true.
not like a normal. So like TCL had the Bronco cheerleaders there. 'Cause-
They did.
Yeah.
Dude. Oh wait, just wait for my video tomorrow, dude.
I don't. What day was that?
That's really weird.
Both days.
They had them both days.
Oh, I never.
didn't have on
I saw the
Saturday.
booth, but I never went back there because it wasn't until yesterday I was like, wait, was Hisense there? I never saw
No, no.
Hisense.
TCL. It
Yeah, I
was their
don't think
first
they
time
were.
there.
I never saw Hisense.
So here's what we got in the Sony. So Sony's got two new projectors, Projector 8, Projector 9. They're not cheap, for those wondering. I forget. Do you remember the prices, Elin, or no?
I don't.
Man, I have them in my video that I was editing, but I can't remember. But Raphael from Arvolution was saying he was upset because they're like considerably more, and you only get like I think the only difference is like a couple hundred lumens, HDMI 2.1 and something else.
Yes, there is something else. It's the XR processor.
That's what.
Yes.
They finally took the XR processor from the TVs and they put it into the projectors, which means they do much better tone mapping wise. And the demo was actually pretty good.
It was.
Yeah.
It was showing the projector, the previous one, and then the projector 8, projector 7, I guess.
I
Projector
got
8.
some video of it. It's
Me
kind of
too.
hard to see because it was so dark, but
Yeah.
like when they were doing it, I was like, oh snap, that really does bring in a bunch of detail.
32,000. Yeah, something like that. Something like that.
Man,
Oh,
that's heavy.
Really? Jeez.
For the 9, I'm not sure about the 8.
Actually,
I'm sure
Right.
Sony Bravia Projector 8. Let's see. Projector 8, 15,000. And then Projector 9, 32,000. So
So
Wow.
about half price.
twice as much. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
But that was definitely cool to see. LG had some cool like display off onto the side. I met one of my viewers,
nice.
and let's go down to here. Boom! Look at this thing. So this is
Epson.
Yeah.
their projector. What, $30,000 for this one, right? This is the flagship
Yep.
one.
For 10,000 lumens.
What size was this screen? He said 220 inch.
Yeah, that sounds about right. It was pretty
No.
big. It was
No,
it was-
220 was the was the Sony one, I think.
Oh, okay. Oh,
This one might have. I thought this one was at least 200 though.
Yeah.
this
maybe,
this was
I
a
don't-
huge space. This was a huge space, and
Yeah.
this thing,
And they had
There
all
it
the
is.
lights on too.
yeah, with all the lights on. Look at that guy. There it is.
Yeah, it was big. But the fact that you can project, or have four screens going all at once, technically, like if you want to.
Yeah. That
What
was
did he
pretty
say?
cool.
Like 400-inch screens or something like that? It was a big screen.
I think it was. I think it was like 465 inch or something like that.
85s. I think it was 485. Something like
Okay.
that. Yeah. Hey.
Boom.
Oh, this is the first time me and Jordan hung out.
Yeah.
Gotta say,
And Elon.
Jordan, you're cool people,
Yeah.
bro. I would definitely hang out with you again.
Thanks, man. Yeah, actually, it was funny. Chris and I were walking to the restaurant. What restaurant was that? I forget the name of it, but I look over to my right and I'm like, is that Elon Osborne sitting outside? Because I didn't even know you were going to be there. I'm like, that is Elon. I'm like, what's up, Elon? And Elon turns around and then Chana's like, hey. I'm like, that's Chana. Chilling with Phil Jones.
Mhm.
Yeah. Chilling with the Massimo crew.
Yeah.
Hey, so what was up with Phil though? He was showing something about the toolkit. You posted on Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
That was after hours, man. So he's like, come after hours. I want to show Yamada-san and all the engineers that are here from Japan for Marantz, the toolkit, and we gotta play them some of your Atmos mixes. And they were like totally blown away. I gave the engineers 2 discs, and then I only brought 5. And there were some other random installers there, installers and dealers. So I gave them to those. I gave those 3 to those guys too. And we listened, and I actually, it was all fun. It was like I was doing a presentation, like, and yeah, it was pretty cool. They thought it was a cool product, and they all loved the Atmos mixes. And this was in the La Meridian. They had a different. They weren't at the show. Hell yeah, I'm chilling like a villain, Marv. How we do, bro.
That's
I was
it.
over there slanging it. I was slanging sacked like a, dude on the corner, slanging something else. Aaron, I didn't know where I was gonna go.
Where's this going, man? You're slinging back. Like, all right, bro.
I don't know.
I don't know, man.
But yeah, what else? What else did we do the first day? That
Theory audio.
Ooh. Did you get that Theory audio?
How was that
demo,
room?
Jordan?
No, I went to their VIP thing on, I believe it was.
Oh yeah, I saw you
Thursday.
there. I saw you
Yeah,
there.
yeah, you came, but I never got the actual like room demo.
I've never heard
Yeah.
Theory audio before, but damn.
I heard them at Audio
I've heard 'em
Advice
before.
live the first year they did it, and they kind of had like a makeshift setup going on. It wasn't perfect, but I was impressed by their speakers, and I know that they do a lot of believe that they do clipple measurements as well. Like they own a near field scanner, I believe.
Oh, okay.
So I thought that was pretty neat too. I was talking to those guys. I never met them before, never knew anything about them before, and I just kind of stumbled into the room and I got a demo and got to talking to them about it. So they gave me some information. I was pretty impressed. That's been like what, 2 years now, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
So
the cool thing about Theory is that, every other demo you went to was basically movie clips. But Theory audio was like, nah, man, we're only going to play music so you can hear the actual like fidelity of these speakers.
Mm-hmm.
So it was amazing.
And then it wasn't a 2-channel situation. It was like 4 or 6, and they were using a Storm Audio processor to do all the processing.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
I
Because what's amazing about Theory audio, I'm a fan of, is that they keep it simple, where like they literally only have like 2 different speakers, but you can house that speaker in an in-wall setting. You can have it in
A pendant.
a pendant.
There's other little panels.
Right.
Yeah.
So like
Great.
So that they and all of their speakers are amplified by their own amplifiers. You can't amplify them with your own amplifier. It's like you have to get the complete package because
Proprietary.
everything is tuned exactly, precisely, and all of their amplifiers have DSP built in. So you can make a system as small or as big as you want. So
I know there were a ton of brands out there, but just off the top of your head, what are some brands that you want to talk about? Some standout ones, just so we have an overview of the things that people might want to hear about. Because I'm sure you could just go on forever talking about stuff that you saw, right? But like, if you narrow it down to the ones that you really want to talk about, like, what are some brands?
And SVS, obviously, everyone wants to talk about their sub, right?
For sure, we'll get into that.
Yeah,
SVS.
All right. What else?
I mean, we already covered some of them. I mean, like Sony and Theory and JBL.
Okay, so those are some of your tops. I'm curious about did they have the demo of the Klipsch soundbar with Dirac, or is that just
yeah, did you go to that, Jordan?
Yeah, I have a video that'll probably post either Friday or this weekend. We had a VIP on Wednesday. I went to that, and then I went back on Friday and shot a video with one of my buddies there. It sounded pretty impressive. Like for a hotel room with zero treatment, they had 2 subs. So I believe you can hook 3 subs up. You can hook 2 wireless and 1 wired, but they said it all runs as 1 channel.
Okay.
But they had Dirac Live on it, and there was times where I was like, that doesn't sound quite right. But obviously, it's in a room that's untreated. But for the most part, it sounded pretty good on a soundbar. So I think that's gonna sell. And they said so. It comes with like basic. I think just like your standard Dirac, but they said you can actually upgrade to the bass control license and like another like full suite license or something like that. So it's got you can get the full suite of Dirac on it. And they said, I was like, that's the first one, right? They're like, that's the only soundbar in the world that has, Dirac. Unfortunately, I don't have any demos in the video, but I mean, it sounded pretty good.
Okay. So the problem with most soundbars that I've seen is that it's hard to get good imaging because the soundbar is only so wide.
Right.
So the speakers aren't far enough apart.
Right.
And the fact that they're small drivers, did you feel like it helped with some of that, maybe with the imaging or tonality? Like what did it assist with?
They had surrounds in the back too. I'm trying to remember if they had any additional surrounds up front. I think it was just a soundbar. But what I noticed, and I don't know if it was just the speakers and Dirac, I feel like Dirac probably helped, but I was getting some pretty good. So the rear surrounds have the upward, firing Atmos speakers, and I was hearing stuff above me, and I kept looking around. I was like, I don't see any surrounds. And then after they turned the lights on, I saw the back surrounds. It sounded pretty convincing. I mean, it doesn't sound like a full speaker system,
right.
But I didn't notice any, because I'm trying to remember where I was sitting on the very end. Imaging was pretty good. Obviously, if I was sitting in the center, I could have got a better sense of things. And they only played a couple of clips, so I didn't really get a chance to like do some deep dives. But from where I was sitting and where I was at, I was getting pretty good imaging on the front, and then obviously, like I said, I was hearing stuff that was hitting, overhead. It would sound different, obviously, if in a dedicated space. I believe they're supposed to send out review units to everybody that was there, so I don't know when that's going to be. But if I get one, I'll be able to do some better testing in my living room.
Well, I'm just excited to have Dirac and more kind of just like consumer level. I don't know how expensive this thing is. It might be a little bit expensive, but the fact that it's in more products, I think, is a good thing. Just because for me, right, selfish plug is it's just easy to integrate Magic Beans with that. Just because the import, we were talking about off camera, Elin, about importing to the tone winner and how you have to do everything manually.
Yeah.
With JRAC, it's just like import, and you're pretty much done. So that I'm happy about that, and maybe we're gonna see them in like Bluetooth speakers. Who knows? You know?
Yeah.
I don't know how far they're gonna go with it, but if you can put it in the soundbar, I assume you can put it into more products. So that's cool.
I mean, if they have it in the soundbar right now, I'm assuming they're already testing other stuff behind the scenes.
Yeah,
I don't
I would
know
like
that
to see
for
that.
sure.
I would like to see it in more products because that means Magic Beans in more products. Billing.
Chilling like a villain. Chilling
Boom.
like a villain. So
I have to. I have to. Come on.
So the question I have for you, Jordan, did they tell you the price of that setup? Because from what I read, it's like a modular thing. You can buy a few. Like you can
Yeah,
add the subs on
I
or
think
something.
you can scale it up. I don't remember if they said it might be in my video. I don't remember if he said it or not, but I don't remember hearing the price. I could probably find out though, just because I'll have to email the PR rep. Actually, you know what? Let me see if she did send us some stuff here. Let me see if I can.
Ooh, Sue, right?
No, this was Roberta
Roberta
Lewis. Yeah, so she works with Sue, but
So
let's see.
I do have questions about SVS. I also want to know, do you guys get any demos of the Trinov waveforming?
I did. I was
Okay.
at the. I was at the. Did you guys get a demo? Because I didn't see it.
Yeah.
The VIP. Okay. What did you guys think?
Friday at 5 o'clock after
Friday at 5
pretty much
p.m., yeah.
everyone left.
Oh,
So
ours
it
was
with waveforming.
Wednesday.
Whoa.
So they must have had a different. They must have had a couple of times.
It wasn't the VIP event. We were at at the show normally. Yeah.
Can you quickly explain to folks, if they don't know what waveforming is, just generally what it is, and what the equipment requirements are?
So I had Eric from Perlisten kind of give me a basic rundown while we were waiting, and essentially they've got subwoofers in the front, subwoofers in the back.
How many? How
They
many?
had, they had 14 in there. 14 D215s.
Meaning
Yeah.
14. Okay.
like 28 15-inch drivers in there.
Yeah.
Okay,
And
so
So
what
like
happens
so like
when you
some
have that?
ear level, some top level, and then the same in the back.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they had was it 4 each stacked on each side in the front? Because they had them,
And
you have
then-
to stack them for waveforming. At least that version of waveforming. I can't remember how many. I think it was 4 that they had stacked up in each corner on the front, right?
Right.
Okay.
Okay, so for all this ridiculousness, right? What do you get in return for that? So you got to spend the money. You got to have subs, pretty much like on both sides, front and back
Well-
wall. So what do you get in return?
Inside the room, honestly, it was just a little bit better than the JBL synthesis room, because there was this one point where the bass went right up my asshole. I mean, it was a sensation I never felt before.
In which room?
In the
Turn off.
turn off
The
waveform.
Trinov.
Yeah.
Where were you sitting
But-
at?
It was like kind of.
We were in the
back-
middle.
Okay.
Were we in the
little bit.
very back row, or there's one more row?
No,
behind us?
there's a row behind us. Yeah.
Okay, and then kind of in the middle ish, a little to the left. But yeah, like they said, all together with the projector, the screen, the everything. It
Oh,
a
in the
1
room.
point- yeah, the room itself.
And
with
shipping the
everything
room
in
from Italy to there.
Yeah, like they had a custom built room to deal with all the
Yeah, Officina Acustica.
Yes.
to deal with all the
What he
you know,
said.
transients and stuff and acoustics to tame the acoustics. So it altogether is 1.2 million just in this one room.
Let me see if I can find the video that
But-
shows. That they
Dang.
What's so like? Yeah, it was definitely a step above the JBL synthesis room, but not like by a huge factor. But what's more impressive is when you're outside of that room waiting in line to go
Oh
in,
yeah. You don't hear shit.
you don't
Get
hear
outta here.
anything. No
That's-
rumble, anything.
Yeah. Whereas all the other sound rooms, you could totally tell when there's a demo.
Yeah. JBL
Right.
synthesis room, just when you're waiting outside. But yeah, turn off room, nothing.
Why do you think that is?
That's the room
I don't
build.
know
That's why they
exactly
spend
how
so much.
waveforming works. It sounds to me that they're just letting the wave pass completely through, trying to make it so that's like not hindered by, or not affected so much by all the other things that are happening in your room. I don't know.
It's supposed to help with if you can't do proper acoustic treatment in your room. It's supposed to cancel out those. I forget exactly how to describe it. It's supposed to cancel out some of the waves that you get when your room isn't treated properly. And then, yeah, so because it's kind of, I guess it's kind of like comparative to art.
Yep.
Mm.
I was about to say.
But-
Sounds like they're doing something. The idea, at least, is similar.
Fred,
Yeah.
man, if your butt it's tuned correctly. So Elin's butthole was like acting as a Helmholtz resonator. That's
Yeah,
probably
exactly.
For the brown note only.
It hit my asshole's resonant frequency.
Yes, there it is.
That's something that can only be said on this channel.
Oh my goodness!
Otherwise, it's out of context and it's scary.
So, okay, all right. So the thing is, Dirac art doesn't require that many subs. Anyway,
Yeah.
And-
Yeah, but what do you call it? I don't know the way they made it sound like okay. I got to hear
Okay, I found it.
Storm Audio, and they played the same part of Lucy that. Oh, and this is the other messed up part. God, can they all just play the same damn demo so we can
That's
hear the
never gonna
same
happen.
exact thing, right? On
Yeah.
all these systems, that would help so much. So,
Right.
Am I allowed to share? Sorry, guys.
yeah, go for it.
Go ahead.
Okay, let me.
I guess the way I'm thinking about it is a lot of speakers. That's a ton of money, a ton of setup. I would kind of expect a lot of return. Of course, if you're a rich guy, you're just like, well, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Whatever.
So-
Yeah.
I mean,
I mean,
if it's making it more quiet in other rooms, and if you have if your theater's in a part of the house where a lot of bass would affect other rooms, that's already kind of a cool thing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Here's one thing about that demo of Lucy. I've watched that movie so many times. Just turn the volume down.
Yeah, because I got a copyright strike on this.
Yeah, we don't want to do that. So that one part in Lucy where she's like flipping through and going like back in time or whatever. If you guys haven't seen Lucy, you guys should watch it. And you know, so many people at the show were like, "I've never seen that Lucy movie."
I have your hard drive, and I threw that on there. Looks
Oh, you should
visually
watch
very cool.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that end scene, I use it a lot for like checking out TVs because it's like super white and black. It's just like it's great.
Yeah.
Right.
And in HDR. Anyway, when she's going back in time, it does this like kind of thing. Like, man, I've never felt bass like that before, and I've watched that scene so many times.
Yeah.
But that's in both this one and the Storm Audio, which has the Ascendo speakers. I don't know what setup they had there.
Which
Oh,
one? The Black Swans? So they had two of them. One of them.
It was Matthew Trinkling said, go. He found me on Saturday outside, and he's like, "Yo, go into the big black one." So not the
So
sound
that
room.
that
the
must
biggest
have
one.
been. Yeah, that was. They had Black Swans up front, and then did they have those three massive subs in the back stacked?
Dude, I don't know. I couldn't see anything. You know,
I
don't
got
know.
some video of that too.
They have a really in that room. They had a really cool 4-way masking thing that auto masked to
Yeah,
the
that was that
aspect
room.
ratio coming off of the kaleidoscape. That was cool. That was the only reason to get a kaleidoscape, so you don't have to like mess around with masking. Yeah, I can't really explain it, and I was trying to tell the dude from Fidelity Imports that I was just enjoying the movie. That's
Yeah.
it.
Like it made you want to watch it. Like continue watching it after the
Continue
demo.
on. It's like,
Aw, don't turn it off.
yeah.
So real
yeah.
quick, speaking of bass, while we're on the topic of bass, is there anything else you guys want to say about this particular room or waveforming?
So this was the room. This was the video that they played us before they started.
Yeah.
So this is exactly what the room looks like. So Officina Acustica builds the room. is it Italy?
Italy,
Yeah.
yeah.
They
Italy.
build the room in Italy first, so they get all the specs and they build it exactly as it is, and they tear it down and then they ship it over to CEDIA and then they build it again. So basically, what they were saying is these rooms, like when Officina Acustica, builds these rooms, like if you move, you can literally tear the room down and take it with you. They were like, obviously, it's not going to be exactly the same because each room is different, but he was like, 85% of the room you can still use. So they had 6 subs up front. So 2 stacked on the
No,
left, 2
that's
stacked in the
the
middle.
rear.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's the rear. Yeah.
Yeah.
So let me go.
Yeah.
to-
8 up front, 6 in the back.
There it is. Yeah. So this is the front. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then they had 6 in the back, and then you had 1, 2, 3, 4 surrounds on each side, and then 6 height channels.
Yeah.
I was sitting, I believe, here.
Okay,
I
so
think
usually
we
in
might
the
have been
back
in the
you're gonna
middle.
have more bass, but so
Or no, we were
do they have
off-
an explanation about this about what waveforming actually does? I mean, we could probably have John here on.
Yeah, it has audio, but it has music in the background. It'll get copyrighted. But they go through the whole room. They go through the speakers and they go through all the partners. It
Yeah.
shows you. Let me just play it.
Does it
It's
show
muted, but
an example of? Yeah, there we go. Like the
let me back it up a
actual
little bit.
bass wave as it goes from the front to the back.
Yeah, that's in the video.
Okay,
So it's canceling out those frequencies, that would normally be just if you didn't have. Ideally, you would have acoustic treatment and waveforming, but waveforming is supposed to help if you can't properly treat your room.
do they have an animation of that of the bass wave going from the front to the back? Do you remember?
I think they just showed a little bit, but I think that was it.
Was
They
that it?
didn't-
That
yeah.
light?
Yeah,
that
just where it envelopes the
So
entire room.
you'll
yeah.
see where you'll see where it meets. It's kind of see right there. It meets in the middle,
Okay.
and you can see it kind of crosses.
Meet me in the middle.
All right. They could have done a better job. I think of that.
It does this.
Yeah.
And it cancels out.
I didn't know that it came from both the front and the back simultaneously.
Yeah. That's how it works. You have to have. I don't know how it works because they had more subs up front. I always thought it was you had to have the same amount of subs,
Same
but I
amount
guess you don't have
back,
to.
yeah.
But I think for this, there's 2 or 3 different versions now. There's some waveforming where you don't have to have the subs off the floor, but in this one, I think the original one, the first version, you have to have them off of the floor.
I hear
Okay.
a cat too. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Oh, you can hear that? Yeah, that's my cat. She's outside the door. She's crying. So whenever I go on vacation for like more than a couple of days, I come back. She just cries and cries for a week. It's kind of annoying.
So
Gone.
it was my understanding that the sound waves come from, let's say, the subs in the front, and normally they'll hit the back wall and then reflect and then start canceling
So you
out
see it again?
some of the sound waves going. It's going to cancel out somewhere, right?
Well, here.
Okay, there you go. So it's coming out from the front.
And the back.
Yeah, from both sides simultaneously, it looks like. At least from this animation, yeah.
Okay. All right. I think we're going to have John on to explain
Yeah.
this.
Why not?
Yeah.
Make a note here to have him on. John here.
And then that projector was insane.
That
Did
thing
you
was
guys-
like $300,000.
Is it the one where it says you can't look into
No,
the
it's
laser?
more- yeah, there's a sign on the
Exactly,
door that
yeah.
says "Do not stand when you stand up. Do not look into the lens." There it
Yeah.
is.
There. Yeah.
Do not look
And then
into the beam.
the
Or
Christie-
skin exposure.
The Christie projector in Storm Audio's booth, it was like a similar
Yeah.
thing. Yeah.
Did y'all get
But
the
that's-
DCI?
That's
Oh, go
something you
ahead,
got to
Ian.
take into account is that they've got Mad VR, they've got this ridiculous Italian-made room, they've got this absolutely insane projector, insane screen. So 1.2 million, most of it is not even the audio stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think this is fascinating just because you see the extreme end, like how crazy can it get? And I think it helps when it comes to setting up your own home theater system to figure out like how much of that do I want, right? And how close can I get to that type of experience without spending that type of money? So it's just that.
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
yeah.
honestly, that that synthesis, just the audio alone at 150,000 is relatively cheap to get like some pretty. I mean, it was a big ass room too,
Yeah.
Which one?
right? The JBL.
JBL.
Oh yeah. It was a big. I want to say it was either as big as Trinov or maybe a little bit bigger. It's
Yeah, it
probably
had
about
3
the same.
rows. Yeah.
So Richard asked, does it cancel out the bass? He's talking about waveforming. What's the purpose then if you don't hear the bass? So I
No,
think
you
what
hear
it
the
is,
bass.
from my understanding, very limited understanding, so I could be very wrong. But as the bass goes out into the room, typically it'll hit the back and side walls, and then it'll start canceling out some of the waves that you're supposed to hear. So if you're in the middle, you may not hear certain frequencies because they're getting canceled before they even get to you, right? So the idea is that the entire sound wave is able to pass through because they are canceling some of the reflections that would normally cancel the sound that you hear. So it's not canceling out all the bass. It's kind of just letting the entire frequency range pass through. And so they have to have some algorithms to figure out how it's propagating throughout the room. That's my limited understanding of it.
So John said that, like, ideally you would treat the room with acoustic treatment, but he said in order, I think I saw this on somebody's live stream. He said, in order to get what waveforming is doing with acoustic panels, you would have to have like, I think he said like 5 or 6 feet deep of acoustic treatment. He's like, nobody has the room for that. So this is, an alternative that you can do in your processor with their technology. And obviously, like I said, the more you treat your room with waveforming, the better it's going to be. But if you can't absolutely do acoustic treatment, this is supposed to help.
Aaron, have you heard of that? This waveforming?
I've heard of it. And I've seen their little demo about it before, but I don't remember.
Didn't you have it in your ProLogic 2 setup?
Exit
Hey,
stage
come
left.
back. I'm kidding. Come on, bro.
We got the engineer here, so
Hate your face.
does some of that make sense though? Like what it's trying to do?
Yeah, I mean, at least on the surface level. Like I said, I don't remember much about it, but I think it was like a month or so where I saw something about maybe it was their center channel waveforming, and I just thought this seems dumb, but I don't know, man. People are paying for it, so it must not be that dumb.
Well,
Of course, that doesn't make sense either. People buy a lot of stupid stuff, and yeah.
I mean,
anyway, I don't know enough about it to speak intelligently about it, so I'll just leave it at that.
If you think about like these theaters are like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people and 18-person home theater, like that's a
big room.
it's a big room, and it's like that's got to be a bitch to calibrate to have
good bass everywhere.
Yeah, right. Instead of just like having just the center be the one where the money section, like even in the storm audio, they're like, it doesn't matter where you're sitting. It's good everywhere.
Speaking of bass, what was that outdoor demo that you did with the bass? Because it was kind of hard. What was happening there? You're saying something about
it's actually, so if you were wearing the headphones,
I did. I put on my microphone.
And then when I walked forward, the bass got louder.
Okay. I mean, that's kind of normal though.
No.
You walk towards the thing.
So
like,
if
areas are
you
gonna be
want
louder bass than others.
So I didn't really explain it to her because I was pretty like messed up from the day before and didn't get much sleep. So essentially, if you want to have an outdoor system and you want to have a lot of bass, but you don't want to annoy the neighbors behind you, they set up 2 more subwoofers in a cardioid pattern. So in that cardioid where there's like the gap, that's like the rear where I started. And then when you walk forward, then all the bass came in. And when I turned around and Elon was just sitting in the front of the frame dancing, I was in the bass area, and then I walked toward him and it was out of the bass area.
So they didn't have any subwoofers or speakers in the back though, right?
No, there was 4 subwoofers. Total.
Oh, okay. So they did have some in the back
to do the cardioid portion. To do the cardioid,
right?
waveforming. No, well, this is like if when you're setting up like subwoofers for a stage, you don't want the bass going into the stage, right? So you would set up
Oh, I get you. Yeah.
subwoofers firing forward. So that you would need 3 cabinets. Subwoofers firing forward into the crowd. Then right on top of that, subwoofers firing at the stage, and then another one firing forward again to give you that cardioid pattern. And it's just a physics thing,
Okay.
you know, and that'll leave more of the bass in the front and cancel most of it. It's still happening, but yeah,
Okay. So
that's what it was. I thought it was cool. Also, Coastal Source, I thought this shit was going to be super expensive, but they actually had stuff for like $2,000 that was like banging.
Yeah,
Like
pretty loud.
Like I could, yeah, they did have like a $65,000 setup, which was pretty sweet.
Where was
Yeah.
But
this?
like Coastal Source, they do all the outdoor stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got some good looking stuff too.
Yeah,
And they're
no, it looks good. It's like
they're not expensive, but they're not really cheap either. From what I remember, I think they were at the Tampa show last year, not this year, but the last year. I'm sure they were this year too.
yeah. So
Yeah.
Oh, did Sue set
I
that
was
up?
surprised. What's that?
Did Sue set that up? Sue
Tampa show?
Toscano? No,
No.
Cause
They
she-
reached out. They reached out just on the press thing. Oh, you weren't part of the press thing. So,
So
all the
I think she sent me something because I remember her sending me something about outdoor, and I was like, I don't think I can cover that on my
do you
channel. That's not
remember-
good.
Do you remember just leaving and going across the street? There was all that commotion.
Yeah, because
That's-
Just Video
that's what it
Walls
was.
was out there.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah,
It was
okay.
the
That's
same
it.
thing.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it. And if you would have just walked in, they would have given you a demo because they wanted people to check it out.
Okay.
And like my mom's house is getting remodeled, so I was like, hey, you guys want to send some stuff over? I'll definitely check it out once the house is done. Yeah, but so that's what was happening in that demo, Joe.
Did you guys talk about Epson? I know you kind of just mentioned it. I don't know. You talked about the pricing and what your thoughts were of those projectors. Because I mean, what's the standard? JVC is kind of like
I loved them.
you loved them.
That's what I was. One of the things I was most excited for because I mean I have the LS 12,000, so I was curious to see how these would look because they have dynamic tone mapping, way more brightness. I thought they looked good. Obviously, we didn't get to do like a side by side with Sony and JVC. Actually, JVC was doing a side by side with Sony, right? Down in one of the first floors somewhere. I didn't see it, but somebody told me that they were doing a side by side, and I was like, "That's gonna ruffle some feathers." But I thought it looked good. Most of the projectors there look good. I don't know about you guys. I was gonna ask you because I felt like, and I don't know if it's just like dirty power at the facility, but I felt like sometimes in some of the demos, I was like, the video on these projectors are like really grainy. Like this doesn't look that high quality. Like it still looked good, but I noticed a lot of the demos. Because I went in JVC a couple of times, and then the second time I went in there, a third time, it cleaned up. So I don't know if they were still tuning it, but I was like,
Do you think that has anything to do with like, was it like too bright? Was it kind of like a sparkle?
It wasn't too bright. It was just like some of the it's almost like they had the sharpness setting up like really high, and it was a little bit grainy. For the most part, everything looked pretty good, but I did notice in some demos, I was like, as much money as this costs, this shouldn't look like this. But like I said, I don't know if it has anything to do with, the power that was coming in there, if it was messing with stuff or they were still calibrating.
How are the black levels on the Epson? Because to me, that's the main reason why everybody's like raving about the JVC. I want just
improved.
I just want a lower cost projector that has crazy good black levels. Like that's what I want, right?
You got to go JVC. Like from looking at the Epson, the Sony. So it seems like the Epson is really just trying to corner the market in bright room projection.
Yep.
Right. That's what it seems like to me. Right. They did have a dark room, and it looked okay. Elon. So I got Jordan? Did you go to JVC? You did,
Yes.
right?
Yeah, because Gormani was in there. Yeah.
Yeah, because you were sitting right next to him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, who, me or Chana?
Yeah, you two are sitting right next to each other. Remember that?
Oh, yeah.
That video you just showed earlier,
Yeah.
Chana. Jordan was sitting right next to you.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. So I ended up going to see Gramani and JVC on Saturday.
Same.
Yeah. So and the Gramani, we talked for a little while. in his little office thing around the corner. But like he only had a 512 setup. And that sounded fucking good.
And I think he
That
said
shit
it was
sounded
like $28,000.
Yeah, something
It
like
was like
that.
it was like way because he was saying I talked to him too. We did the same thing. He was saying that they wanted to do something a little bit more like way more scaled down because at last year I think he said they did like $1 million room, and he was saying that a lot of people were like, "Man, we really like your sound of your stuff, but I can't afford it." So he's like, "We don't just sell like $1 million systems." So he was like, "We wanted to do something a little bit different. We wanted to scale down and show people that they can, get into our ecosystem." I think he said it was like $28,000 that room.
Wow.
Damn.
That
So,
was very
yeah, it
surprising.
sounded good.
That JVC, I tried to take some footage of it. That shit was good, dude. That shit was good. Like those, like there's just that thing that they got that they do the deal. What is it? I don't know if you know the DLNA or whatever.
DILA, I think.
DILA, DLNA. That's another
Deal.
computer.
That's streaming on my network.
Yeah, we all have that apparently. That shit is just, it is just so good.
Yeah,
I don't
they've
know
got the
what-
best black levels.
Yeah.
So,
So, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, obviously a different environment, but I felt like the newer projectors, the black levels were improved over the LS12000. But I need to get it into my, theater and do some testing. So
You kind
It's
of
hard to tell. Yeah.
yeah. I think they're like you said, they're trying to corner the market, and I think because he specifically mentioned that in my review. He's like, we're trying to get away from the budget brand. He's like, we're trying to get away from just a dedicated theater space, but he's like, we can absolutely do that. So
I get it.
I
So
mean,
it's
yeah.
kind of like remember when it was like OLED, or you can get like a OLED, or you could get some kind of Samsung TV that will sear your eyeballs like during the day.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
They're going that direction. Like we're gonna sear your eyeballs. So
Yeah.
I get it. There's use cases for each.
And a lot of the stuff, like when people that are like really wealthy, that's what this shit is for, right? This whole show is about really wealthy people and a bunch of dealers looking at all the new products. People that have a great room that's like 10,000 square feet. They got like couch. They got this blank wall, and they want to hide everything. They don't want to have a box. They don't want to have speakers. They want to have wires showing. It's like fully like that's what the show's about. And that's why everything costs so much. Because what's the old adage? You want to sell something, sell to the rich. So you can actually make some money. Not like making a silly $100 product.
Oh yeah, because then all those people will complain it's so expensive. It's too expensive.
I know. Exactly. But if you think about like if you look at any kind of like real estate and stuff like that, especially in like LA, like there's some really wild ass amazing looking shit, and that's what this stuff is for, right? And so you don't have to see it. Like people come into my studio, they'll be like, "Man, this place is ugly, bro. You got wires all over the place. There's speakers sitting on fucking cinder blocks." Like. But
so it's a little bit off topic, but because you mentioned real estate, I have notes of stuff that I want to talk about. And one of the things I realized, I was watching those real estate videos where they're touring a mansion, like crazy expensive, and the way that they were describing the place, they're like, yeah, this exquisite, exclusive. The kind of words that they use.
Marble from Calcutta.
Yeah. Like this prestigious thing make you feel like, oh, I'm somebody if I have this. I'm like, this reminds me of some of those audio reviews. About this stuff. It sounded exactly like this real estate video. Yeah. Oh, this exquisite
flowery words, right?
It just sounded the same. Anyway, yeah. Side topic. So back to the CEDIA stuff. How loud were these rooms? Like, were they extremely loud?
They weren't that loud.
No.
You play shit louder for me at your house.
Really? But, so it was more about the quality instead of like just overwhelming you with right?
I think also that has to do with when you go into a room that's properly treated, you can crank it and it's not gonna distort, and it's because it's this distortion that obviously if you go high enough, your ears are just gonna give out. But you're talking like a $1 million room that's properly treated with like the best industry experts. Like, yeah, they were cranking it and it wasn't uncomfortable.
That makes sense. If you have a good sounding system, well treated room, you can turn it up louder and not annoy and fatigue your ears. That makes sense. So I'm just surprised because if you're talking about the number of subwoofers that these people have, I'm sure if they wanted to, they could just crank it up and
Oh yeah, we'd
give you a
run
little
out of there.
scare. Yeah. If they wanted to. So a few other things. Marantz, you have a video on that, and SVS, of course. You guys want to talk about
Marantz, people were like, well, how did it sound? This is a waste of a video. I'm like, they didn't have it plugged in. Oh, they weren't doing demos of that.
So which one are you talking about?
That's stereo
You mean
integrated
the-
amp?
Yeah.
What's the model number? I saw you running your hands across the top. I want to know about that.
Model 10.
Okay.
Model 10, yeah. Yeah, because it's all bumpy. I was
That's
like,
the one
"Oh."
where they said they gave the engineers just like carte blanche, right? To just do whatever you
Correct.
want. You have-
Correct. Somebody actually asked about it here, and I'll let the cat out of the bag. iFinest, it's in the works, dude. I totally called it. It's the replacement to the AV7706. So,
Okay.
Right.
So
And
it's
so
in the works.
why was Phil Jones laughing when you're talking about like Heo? He was saying something about Heos, and he kept saying, "Chana, I'll talk to you after this about."
So apparently they revamped Heos, and I've been talking a bunch of shit about Heos for the last 5 years, and they're like, that was like 15 iterations ago. And he's saying that like the engineers are like, well, Chana doesn't like Heos. Right? So they're actually taking it personally. Right? And this is like the head engineers of Marantz. Like I met them a whole bunch of times. We had dinner the night before. Oh, and one of the guys from Massimo was like, "Oh, I know you. You're the guy that hates Heos." I'm like, "Yeah, what's up? I'm Chana. Nice to meet you."
Nice introduction.
Yeah.
Yeah. My complaint was always just that I want to use Qobuz. That was like the simple thing.
I think they added it. They added it. Right.
If it has Qobuz, eventually if it has YouTube Music for just whatever streaming, I'd be happy. But yeah, if they have that,
I did mention that to Phil. So they made the interface. I saw him running it. The interface is super slick.
all right.
He's like,
all
you really
right.
got to give it another chance. I was like,
All
okay,
right.
fine.
All right. All right.
He's like, it's
download- make
software.
sure
We
I
can
have
change it. Yeah.
Heos.
So-
Let me see. Make sure I have the updated version.
Yeah.
I have
Yeah,
the
they
product.
said
Try it.
it's
All right.
on like version 34 now. So they've done a lot over the past few years.
All right. Hopefully they don't use version 35. Let's see. Yeah. Okay. So Denon and Marantz. Any Denon news?
So Denon, they have a new receiver that they talked about, but they didn't show it. Aaron does need to calm down. He's
I'm feeling tired. I was just about to say I'm about to bail out.
Hey, do what
Chatty
you gotta
Cat
do,
knows
man. I'm
all
just
the
happy to
time.
see your face, bro. It's okay.
I know.
I know the home theater stuff is not your main thing. I was hoping to have some speakers.
Fighting to stay
Oh,
awake.
oh, do you want to see?
No.
There's some speakers here right up his alley. Let's see.
SBS.
Where's this CEDIA?
No more SBS subwoofers.
No,
That's all I see on my Facebook stream.
This
I
is
know.
Aaron's room right here.
Crazy.
This is Aaron's room right here.
Chana, you kicked it off with the SVS talk, and then next thing, all my other videos are SVS, and then Nick just saying the same spiel over and over, like veins popping out of his neck, saying the same thing over.
Oh, you know
Hulk
what
Hogan.
was funny? I was like, Nick, it sounds like you're talking gibberish, bro. And then after the interview, he's like, oh, I should kind of like tame this down for like regular people. I was like, I think you should stop using marketing phrase right after marketing phrase after marketing phrase. And it's like a string of marketing phrases in a row. I'm like, wait, what are you saying? Like, can you just tell me what the fuck? So
Dude, I will say that looks like a cool setup. Those amplifiers just look awesome in person.
Oh, are those
these are
Class
class
A?
A's.
Class A.
Yeah, of course.
I gotta
Guess it's how
say,
you
those
pronounce
do
it,
look
right?
nice though,
Class
huh?
A or Class E.
Class A. You got to be Class A to have them.
Is it French?
Yeah,
I don't
Aaron.
know.
I don't know
I
if
don't
you're
know.
Class A enough.
They
Who
look
knows?
cool,
Like,
though. I know that.
what is it? Are you class A over there in Alabama?
Still in Class A.
So, how do those look acoustically?
Acoustically,
They make sense from
The seashell?
sure. Yeah, why not?
who designed that? Is that's a Nautilus? Nautilus
Yeah,
looking thing?
Nautilus. Yeah.
Lawrence Dickey.
That's what I thought.
Who's on to Vivid Audio now. Have you
Yes.
seen their crazy speakers? Have we talked about that before? They're crazy
Yeah, they look
newer
like vases,
speakers.
like vases. Class
Yeah,
A.
well, so they've got the one that has like the 4 or 8 or something like that subwoofers built into the cabinet. It comes in, it's modular, I think. So like the bottom part is all the subwoofer. It is crazy looking, man.
Yeah.
And it's probably like $500,000 a pair or something ridiculous just because.
All I know is the guy has a cool name and he makes cool looking
Man,
speakers.
I like watching his interviews. It's really cool because he gets into like he's an artist with like a true understanding of the science too, on like how to build a speaker and make it, a neutral speaker and all that. But he does it in a cool way that doesn't look like just a standard box.
Mhm.
But it's not cheap. That's the problem. Plebes like me can't afford that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
what was Chris always saying? What was his word?
You say no invite, huh? Lame.
No, it wasn't please. What did he say?
Oh, the poors.
Oh, the pores.
And he would always do this hand
Yes,
gesture.
yes, the
the
poors.
poors.
Yeah,
Like they're just trickling stuff off to you. Is that it?
yeah. Like you know your boy, that home theater dude.
Shoot.
Oh, Chris.
Yeah. Chris,
That's
that-
Jordan, dude. I
Huh?
saw him in your video. So
yeah.
he always makes me laugh because he's always gonna do something. I already know he's gonna do something a little bit like crazy. So in that, I think it was a video on Kaleidoscape, Jordan, I saw, where you guys were both.
Yeah.
I don't know why you guys were wearing always like the name of the company. I don't hear you, bro. Can you hear him?
Sorry,
No.
I was muted. I had our Evolution shirt. So we were supposed to shoot them on let's see, Wednesday on Friday morning, and I had an Evolution shirt, and I walked up to him, and one of the
you can't be wearing that.
yeah, one of the Kaleidoscape guys was like, "Hey, you can't be wearing that in the video." And so Amanda came up. She looked and she's like, "Oh yeah." She's like, "Do you need a Kaleidoscape shirt?" And I was like, "Yes, I do." So they went and got me a Kaleidoscape shirt, and then Chris came over there. He was like, "Hey, where's my shirt?"
Oh, okay. All right.
And I'm like, "Bro, they gave me one because I was wearing our Revolution, so they gave him one. So we all had our Kaleidoscape
so
shirts."
funny.
So you get to keep the shirt though. You know,
Yeah, she's like, "You get to keep it."
I hope so.
That was looking like a
Give it
decent shirt.
back.
That looked like
You
a
wouldn't
decent
give it
shirt.
back.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, I'm going to take my opportunity to step out, go brush
See
my
ya,
teeth.
man.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna hop off here in a minute, 5 or 10 minutes or so. Side note, were you surprised? I saw Chana, you had a video with them. So I was walking, I don't remember what day
Yeah,
it
Aaron.
was.
Later, Aaron.
All right, Aaron.
Bye.
Bye.
I was walking to lunch, and I'm walking, and I look to my right, and I'm like, "Is that Nick? Is that Emotiva?" And I'm like, "What are they doing here?" So I went up to Nick, and I was like, "Hey, what's up, man?" He was like, "Oh man, good to see it." I'm like, "What are y'all doing here?" He was like,
Yeah.
"Oh, we're trying to get into the custom integration market." And I was like, "Oh snap, okay." But I just thought it was like, it just completely threw me off guard because I was like, "I've never seen you guys here before." He's like,
Somebody
"Yeah."
said Emotiva's there. I was like, oh, really? And I was just walking around on Saturday. I was just like, oh, what's up, guys? He turns around, Chana, what up? I'm like, what do you guys have anything new? They're like, we have a 16-channel processor. Oh, big news. Oh yeah. All right. What the last podcast I had a crazy ass idea. What was the crazy ass idea?
Oh yeah, to do a comparison of processors.
And what did I say I was gonna do? I was gonna go to CEDIA and talk to all these rich ass motherfuckers talking about, yo, send me this shit.
Yeah.
Guess who's on board?
Who?
Well, Emotiva has to ask.
Turn
Audio
off.
control, Lingdorf, Trinov, and Storm are all. That's a great idea. That's a great idea, Tron. I'm like, yeah, I know.
It's a great idea until all of them lose except one, and they're like, "We're not sending you anymore."
Hey, if they agree to it, then that's what it is.
Yeah,
The guy, so I'm talking, like Matt, from Storm. He saw me. He's like, hey, I know that guy. I was like, oh, what up? As soon as I told him the thing, his buddy was like, I've been wanting to do this for years. So they've been wanting to do this shit. And like Lars, not Lars, Klaus from Lingdorf. He lives like over here, so he's gonna come by the studio and check it out.
Okay.
Oh,
Let me know
nice.
when he comes over. We'll go. We'll have a thing. We'll just do some testing. I'll show him because he showed us. He's the guy who showed us the Lingdorf. What is it? Room Perfect, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so
I've never
All right.
heard Lindorf.
I've
Lingdorf,
never heard of
Steinway,
it.
Lingdorf.
I mean,
And
Don apparently has one.
who? Don Dunn?
No, Don Hensley, Horizon.
Oh, yeah. So I tried to go because I saw your one of my drives just ejected. I saw your boys Acurus over there in the back when I went to go for the VIP for Ascendo, and like I was like, "Hey, are you guys doing a demo?" And they're like, "Man, we just shut it down." He's like, "You can come back tomorrow on Saturday," and I forgot on Saturday it was the last day, so I didn't get to hear him. But
Elon went and checked him out.
what'd you think, Elon?
What, Accurus?
Yeah.
It was all right. I mean, again, Turnoff and JBL synthesis
Oh yeah.
ruined it.
But what speakers were they running in there with the Acurus? Is it a 16 channel?
They were running.
They're running
9
Dyne Audio?
and 6. No, that was the 2 channel. Was their Dyne Audio like $50,000 pair? But they were running Totem for the surround.
I've never heard those. I've heard of them, but I've never heard them.
But they did like a quick demo. Like their clips were very short. And then Elon, you asked the question, are there any plans to get DTSX or no IMAX enhanced or Oro
IMAX
3D?
and Oro.
And it's essentially like I was trying, talking to them, like look, you guys want to do a debrief or something? Like at that price point, unless they're strictly going for the custom integrators who are going to manually calibrate. So that was the other thing. They had their calibration that I don't have yet for this one, for the X4 that's sitting here.
What do they
Right.
use? Their own proprietary or?
Yeah. So and I see it on all the comments, like, okay, well, this is not really done yet if they don't have a room calibration. So, they got to get that done and send it over to me so I can make a video about it. But at the end of the day, it's missing a lot of things. And regular consumers are like, I'm going to pay $15,000 for this thing and I don't get all 4 immersive formats.
So what does it have?
It doesn't
Right
even
now?
have an on-screen display either.
Yeah, there's no graphic
Oh, really?
display.
So you
Yeah.
got to do the. Does it have a web GUI at least?
There is a web GUI. Yeah.
Okay, well at least there's that.
Yeah.
Because if you got to just turn around and what's up, FOMO?
Nope. Yeah, we're just kind of discussing this. Dirac CTO left to join Harman.
Yeah, that just happened. It's all over LinkedIn.
Dude,
Really?
those people leave all, like Rob Brennan. He was at. So I went to the Sony press event in what was that, March, and Rob Brennan was there talking about the Sony projectors. At CEDIA, he was at Epson talking about. I'm like, what are you doing here? I was like, dude, I just saw you like a couple months ago. He was like, yeah, we launched the Bravia 9. And he was like, after the SPE event, we had a live stream on Friday, and that Monday I was working for Epson. So they all like leave. I've had people contacts where I'm emailing them like, oh, this person doesn't work here anymore. Last year, Audio Vice girl Heather, she asked me to come to Audio Vice, and I was like, oh, I had just got back from M-Wave, and I was like, I just took off work, maybe next year. And then like a couple weeks later, she's at AudioQuest now.
Yeah.
So they just all like switch around, man. It's kind of funny.
Yeah, it's almost like it's very incestuous, like on Beverly Hills 90210. Everybody's sleeping with everybody,
Yeah.
They're just all trading
Passing everyone around.
jobs.
It's pretty wild, actually.
So it was this Matthias? Matthias?
Oh, Dirac?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
trying to who was it? Somebody saying that somebody went from Dirac to Harman. I'm like, that's kind of a big deal.
Yeah,
Especially if it's this guy. This is the guy that I've seen lots of times on videos explaining how Dirac
Is he on
artwork.
LinkedIn?
Anyway, yeah, you can find him on LinkedIn. I'm kind of curious to see where are you guys finding this news. If you guys can link to it, that would be. I'm interested
On
personally.
LinkedIn. What is it? Who is it?
Matthias Bjornberg or
Bjornberg.
Joe, let's see.
Matthias Johansson, that guy.
I don't know. Whoever's saying this in the chat, can you give us more information, please?
A new exciting chapter begins for me today, having devoted more than 23 years to the company. Here,
Matthias
No, you
Johansson,
just
CTO and co-founder of Dirac?
Because
Yeah.
that's
Oh,
big
wow.
news. That's like he's one of the.
He was on the
Yeah,
founders.
actually,
Co-founded in 2001.
he was at CES last 2 years ago in the Perlisson
Oh,
room.
yeah?
Yeah, because they had a suite at CES, and I think Woody Soundup, Brian had told me about it, and I went up there, and he was in there. But I mean, his LinkedIn still says Dirac, but
Yeah, to that end, I'm thrilled to announce that Dr. Matthias Johansson will join our team of technologists as a new vice president of digital signal processing and applied intelligence lab at Harman International, effective
Whoa.
16th of September.
Okay, that's big news.
yeah, well, he hasn't updated
That's-
his LinkedIn yet. That's crazy.
He was the guy that.
It's not
the
until the
video-
16th, Jordan. Give him a few days.
Yeah,
It's like next
you
week.
got to be professional.
Yeah, right.
This is the. I think it was. He was one of the co-founders.
Yeah, that's
the
what it
other
says.
one is Dr. Nilo Casimiro. I forgot his last name. You know, it's like three names. But he came to my house to check out art. So I don't know who else was part of the
I'm sorry, Nilo was the one at CES. That guy. Yeah.
Nilo. Okay, yeah.
Nilo Casimiro Erickson.
Erickson, yes. I don't know who else co-founded, but this is big news. You know, imagine you start this company, you create Dirac, and then you move. It's a lot.
Yeah.
I don't know if people realize that that's not small news. Nothing's
This is
happening
big
over there,
news.
right?
This is a big deal.
And then if somebody else comes in behind him and decides to just change it all up or starts doing something different, like
Well, I know they got a new CEO, I believe. Dirac just got a new CEO.
Did they?
Dirac, I think so. New CEO. Was it CEO or
I wonder because there were some people from Dirac in the clips soundbar thing.
Yeah, because they just added that in there, you know.
Yeah, so they got this new CEO. Dirac got a new CEO, Anders Storm. That's the guy's name. Anders Storm.
Storm.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, so yeah, that's like Steve Jobs getting kicked out of Apple. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. It's big news. You co-founded the thing, and then all of a sudden you're somewhere else. It's like if all of a sudden, you know, Chana and I are not part of Spatial Group. Like, it's kind of weird. Anyway.
CEO at Dirac. Huh?
Let's see here. A few other questions. So, anything to touch on with regards to SVS that has not already been said in a video that Nick has not already said a billion times? Like any personal experience with the thing or just looking at it? Anything?
I actually didn't get to go into the booth this year, so I filmed actually I just uploaded that. I filmed a quick video with him, but I actually didn't get to listen to it.
You didn't listen to it.
Dang, Jordan, you been popping out the videos like crazy, huh?
I actually didn't realize I did as many. I was counting them up. I think I have some around 10 or 11 that I shot.
Yeah, see, he's on that grind that we used to be on, right? Shauna, we'd go to these events and would pop out videos. Now we kind of just go and like, I think I'll make a video. I don't know.
Well, I took a lot of, I think Friday and Saturday, I really didn't schedule much because last year I think I did like 14 or 15 videos and I missed a lot. So this year I was like, you know what?
You don't
chill
have
out.
fun. You can't walk around.
And then you have to like get in and get out because other content creators are getting, I mean, you can't just like sit down for 30 minutes and talk to people. So you have to kind of get in and shoot the video.
And the demos were like half an hour and you had to like wait. You had to sit there and wait.
Oh yeah. Yeah, the
You're just
JBL room
kinda-
there's like a constant line at the JBL.
Yeah.
That's why I never went over there because I was like, man, I don't have time to just stand in line here. I got stuff to do.
Yeah.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Ain't nobody
Yeah.
got time for that.
So before we answer a few of the questions in the chat, two questions from me. Did you see anything like new DSP EQ related? Just for me, because
No.
I'm interested. No? Okay.
No.
Yeah.
Well, that means I got to be there next year. Show these guys what's up. All right. So show some magic beans and toolkit, and let's see what's up. Why don't we do that, Chana? How come we're not there over there?
Because you were going on this vacation, bro. We were planning on doing it.
Okay. No, I'm talking about like doing, like exhibiting, showing something.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Doing it.
Let's do it.
Doing it. Just like Elon said, like turn off right up the butt. Doing it up the butt. We're gonna
All
do
right.
it.
Yep.
All right. We need some coverage. All right. Jordan, next year.
The
We got
magic
put them on the schedule right now.
Yeah.
I'll send you my
Beans
rates.
up the butt tour.
Yeah.
I already
Make
have
sure-
your rates, bro.
Make sure it says VIP,
Yeah, you have my rates. You do.
VIP exclusive and food and drink of your choice. You know what I mean? Like, we'll make sure to do it right.
We have to feed the peasants.
Poor. The
poor.
poors, as Chris would say.
Um,
God, man.
Okay, so the last question that I have before we get into the chat or the start comments is just: is there anything that you learned in general? It doesn't have to be technical. It could be technical, but just about home theater in general. Maybe something you learned about what you want for your own system. You know, well, just based on this experience, what did you walk away with, like, you know, in knowledge-wise or experience-wise?
I would say that the top of the bell curve, as far as return on investment, was JBL synthesis. I don't think it's like with how incredible that Trinoff room was. Like for like a quarter of the cost, you could get damn near close with JBL synthesis.
Well, they're known for doing lots of research. All the stuff that we talk about comes from Harman Research.
My only thing was the way he described like the Harman target curve, and I was just like, man, if we were to magic beans, hey, Captain EO. I didn't even notice it said that shit.
I saw that was the first thing I saw. I almost said something. I was like, Captain EO.
If they would have magic beans, like imagine that what you experienced, but just better once they get like a custom target curve for that room set up. That would have been
Went banging.
Well, maybe the
Yeah.
Harman target curve is appropriate for that Harman room. Who knows? Maybe that they have the right,
Maybe.
the
it's
right.
got a synergy to it.
Okay. Anybody else? Things that you kind of came away with, knowledge-wise, experience-wise.
Knowledge-wise, yes. I actually have a brand new business idea. So
Okay.
yeah. So I'm gonna work
Share
work
with
that out.
me afterwards.
Yeah.
Okay,
Elon
we-
already knows. I was yapping about it like a fucking chatty Cathy at the
All
show,
right, all right.
talking to all these people. Salamander Designs has some really cool shit if you're trying to hide stuff. Oh,
They were there.
and
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
talking to their designers because I told them, I was like, hey, there's some shit you're missing, and they would sell like hotcakes. And I told him what it was. He's like, oh, we can easily do that. I'm like, yeah, we should talk about it.
Yeah. So
Make
And I
note
should
of
get
that.
like a percentage.
I want to hear about that in the after show. Your
Okay.
business idea. I want to hear about that salamander design. Some of
Yeah.
your ideas.
I'm gonna
right.
have to go ahead and log off.
You gotta
Jordan,
make-
thanks for hanging out, bro.
Yeah, man. Thanks for
Yeah.
having
You
me.
gotta
Thanks
hang
for
out
coming,
in
man.
person again,
Yeah, bro.
'cause that shit, you're a fucking comedy. You know, I don't know if we really need Chris, because there was just always some weird shit happening, man.
Taking dumps and
He's just making shit
Hey,
weird. Like,
You were dancing in your video, Jordan.
oh yeah,
And
he
I-
did that. He did that to a bunch of people.
I just remember in your remember your experience, Chana? You guys went out and then you're dancing and he said, "Hey man,
what are you doing, man?" I'm like, I'm having fun, bro. You were on the rooftop at La Meridian, and I'm just dancing it up. And Zach from Dream Media is like, yeah, raging. Like, Chris is like, what are you doing? Zach's like, Chana's raging. Leave him alone. I'm like, yeah, man.
what are you
There's
doing?"
girls, there's music. You know, I might be a little stoned. It's Colorado. I'm getting a contact high and drinking. Like, what? What do you expect?
I like Chris. He's got an amount of weird that I'm okay with.
Also,
And everybody
side note,
needs the experience.
yeah. Also, side note, I did I think like 54,000 steps in like 4 days. It was
There
crazy.
you go.
I did like 13,000 steps every day.
A lot of walking.
So if you want to if you want to lose some weight, I lost 3 pounds.
You lost 3 pounds
When I
thought you
came back, I
were
weighed
supposed to eat
myself.
afterwards, though. You're
What'd you
supposed
say?
to hang out with the guys, eat, and then like gain it all back.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I did 16,000, 18,000, and 15,000.
Dang.
Thur-
You did more than I did.
Yeah.
All right, well, cool. We'll talk again soon.
Yeah,
Jordan.
guys. Thanks for having me
Yeah.
on.
Yeah. Thanks, Jordan.
All right,
See you,
man.
man. Thank you. Take care.
Bye.
Right. So here's
Are we
some.
trying to get through these starred comments?
Yeah, let's just get through the start and let's get up out of here.
Get up.
L Acoustics room. I was not able to go there, or the Alcons room. But I did connect with somebody from L Acoustics, so I might. I don't know. That shit's huge.
I like their stuff.
But maybe I'll make some content for them. Who knows? SVS sub, big bada boom. Was there a product you guys were personally excited for? Not really.
No, I was just excited to see what people were going to show me. It's like, show me what you got, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool.
I don't think there was. Yeah, because SVS didn't say anything about it.
Yeah, true.
I was looking forward to I finally getting into a Trinov demo. I don't think I've ever had a Trinov demo.
Me neither.
But I wasn't really excited. I was just
Yeah.
like, oh, let's go check it out.
So when you heard the Trinov demo, did you hear things that you've just never heard before? I always say that same thing. Did you experience something that you feel like you've never experienced?
Yeah.
Because you have a nice system in your studio, right?
Yeah.
What was it that you experienced that you'd never experienced before?
Well, I would play that scene in Lucy, but somebody's got my damn hard drive.
All right. I'll come and bring it to you personally. How about that? I'll bring it over there.
Oh yeah, because you haven't been here yet.
Yeah, there we go. It's an excuse.
I was gonna say your sister lives closer, and I was making the joke last time that your sister's closer than you are. She'll be here first.
Yeah, she'll probably hang out with you. All right. So what is the weird?
Oh, yeah. I gotta hit her up because I'm bringing some guitars. Next time I'm going to Mammoth this weekend, so I'm gonna bring some guitars back.
Oh heck yeah!
Because you said that she's like an amazing guitar player, so now she's got to put her money where your mouth is.
I didn't say all that.
Anyway,
you guys should see what you guys can do. Weirdest things that you saw. What's the weirdest thing that you saw at CEDIA?
Nothing really weird. Giant subwoofers. The Ascendo didn't have their giant subwoofer on display. So,
yeah,
nothing weird.
Oh, Chana,
did you see
weird? That? Did you see that speaker that was shaped like a glass figurine of a dolphin?
No,
I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
The fact that it was possible, like maybe.
I'm like, I wouldn't put it past somebody to make that.
The guy behind the Nautilus speakers should make something like that.
It's called the Orca or no, whatever.
Right.
The directivity. We found out that in water, the directivity of dolphins, just the way that the waves wrap around. Yeah, it's perfect. Hey, you got a new idea. You're gonna have a speaker that just looks like a dolphin that's kind of like curved like that.
Yeah.
That's why they're so dynamic in the water. Jonathan asked, fun CEDIA question. If costs weren't an object, what one item would you want that you saw? So you like those shopping cart, those shopping spree games, right? Where you can go in and just get whatever you want. What would you get?
If I had the space, I would either have the Storm Audio room with everything in it, or the Trinov room with everything in it as my theater.
Just take the whole thing.
Just hold the whole thing. Just put that in my backyard.
I want that box.
Yeah, exactly. That sound room in there, because it wasn't just like it was the seating. It was the the projector, the light, like the Elon. You didn't get a. So they have this this company in the Storm Audio one. the chairs were all remotely um controlled by the guy doing the demo. He's like, all right, everybody watch your feet, and all 3 rows
Oh,
were all
no way.
like, and then you can recline it more, but like it got you into like the nice position. One of the demos that was the coolest was the Imagine Dragons one, and they run some clips, and I'm like, I only got like a minute of the song, so this one installer guy was like, hey Chana, I watch you all the time, man. I'm like, oh hey, what's up? He's like, hey, you know what, we need come back right after we close. I'm gonna get you in to hear which demo do you want to hear. I'm like, the Imagine Dragons. He's like, we're gonna get in there and crank it, right?
Oh.
And so I took a binaural recording of this full song, try to get my reaction, but like it got all blurry again. Stupid Osmo Pocket. But that was like the Atmos in that, and the Atmos in that music one in Trinov, Elon, that like electronic thing with the
like geometry shapes and the box and all that weird stuff.
Those demos were pretty fucking cool.
Yeah.
So maybe I just want those files. maybe that's all I really want. Yeah, that's all I really want.
If it was just one item, though, man, I would love to get that projector that was in the Trinov room.
The projector, that's a good choice. It's probably one of the most expensive things you can get.
Yeah, it was like $300,000.
Which one was it? Was it Barco or?
It was a Barco.
Barco.
Yeah. It was a Barco. Christy was in the Storm Audio room.
Okay.
So yeah.
All right. And then so this is the last one I see here. Marv says, Joe, did you hear a difference going from an AVR in preamp mode to a processor? I'm looking to purchase a Mint Marantz AV7704 for $500. I don't think I can hear a difference. I think there's a difference to be.
I can actually do that here with the 7706 and the Denon 6700H in preamp mode.
Okay. I don't
touch the button from the main listening position. I can do that.
I don't think there's a huge difference as far as those things. I think going from internal amplification, trying to power all of your speakers, to external amplification, that's a difference.
Yeah.
Definitely. If you're using some power hungry speakers and if you're running them down.
You did think that you had less of a noise floor when it's all XLR.
So that's in my particular situation, right? In my case, the garage has dirty power and the noise was coming in through RCA. Noticeable. Like, with everything off, you could put your ear to the thing and you could hear it. You could hear it in my video, right? I don't know if that would have been resolved if I grounded, the AVR to the amps, connected them up, and I'd have to manually do that because there's no ground wire on some of the things. But that was the most noticeable thing, is using XLR. I had less noise, which that makes it sound better. Your system sounds better because think about the amount of noise multiplied by all of your speakers, right?
Yeah.
So that extra noise, if you multiply that out, with speakers all around you, you'll sense it. Not that you're gonna hear it, but it's like when there's a fan going on in your room, you're not like, oh, I hear the fan. But when you turn it off, you notice that the fan's off. There's a difference. It's quieter. That's the difference that I noticed. But I don't think there's a huge difference going from an AVR that has preamp mode to one that's a dedicated one. I'm sure that they'll tell you, manufacturer will tell you otherwise, because they can charge you more for a product with less stuff in it, which is good for them.
Yeah.
Oh, how about you guys? Do you feel the same way, or do you have a different opinion on it?
I feel like when I went from my Marantz SR7015 in preamp mode to the IOTA AVX17 preamp, again, that's going from RCA to XLR. It seemed like I had more cinematic bass response. Like it seemed like it was getting up there with what I experienced only in an actual movie theater.
Would you say that there's the bass was just more dynamic. You had more dynamics, maybe.
I don't know,
Or
man. It just seemed like
What do you mean?
like I could just feel it in my chest more, like, and
Okay.
it like rumbled from the ground more.
Mm,
So I don't know if that's just because I don't know. And IOTA is one of the cheaper preamps out there, and they've got their own room correction software, so it
It's
wasn't
like the tone winner
Odyssey.
that I have.
Exactly.
So, but that's a huge jump because that's not just preamp mode to a processor. That's from a Marantz completely to a different platform altogether,
sure.
right?
I mean,
But
if
it
it was,
is, but I mean, it's not another Marantz preamp, or it's not, a Storm audio preamp or Trinoff preamp. I would say the AVX17 is one of your budget preamps, and it still seemed to hit harder, or it just seemed more cinematic than the Marantz.
But when you had the Marantz, did you have Odyssey calibration on?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, so the tone or the AVX, you probably did you run their calibration or did you just not run any?
Yeah, I ran theirs. Yeah.
Okay. So that's going to be the hugest difference, right? The calibration. I've been testing the calibration for the past few days. Yeah. The tone winner calibration is not the best. That's why I'm working on it, but
Right.
that could be a bigger noticeable difference. If you had them both in with no calibration whatsoever, I think that they might sound more similar.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't know. Chana, what's your experience? You've tested a lot of stuff, man.
I've what?
You've tested a lot of these AVRs and processors.
I mean, I've only had the Marantz processors really until I got this Accurus one.
Well, I'm just saying, going from a Denner Marantz AVR with the preamp mode, right? So you're using the preamp to a dedicated processor. Do you hear like, oh my goodness, this is not?
It's not noticeable in that aspect. And then at the same time, I was talking to Klaus and I was telling him about this idea of A being 16 channel processors, and he said that there was some tests that said that our hearing, like we really have a 3.5-second window to make a distinction to where we can actually hear a difference in something.
Mm-hmm.
So I wouldn't imagine that there would be a huge difference. I wouldn't imagine. But have I actually experienced? Because you can't. I mean, now I have this thing. I just need to get a cable, and then I can do it from right here, and then I can find out. Right? I can find out. But it's going to be harder to hear through. I believe it'll probably be harder to hear through a YouTube video.
Okay.
So
what do I have?
Because I think it's that minute. I think it's that small. Like it's probably so small that there's no way we could hear it through a YouTube video.
I've had numerous Denon products, right? 4500H, 4700H, 6700H. I have the HTP1 processor, right? Mm-hmm. I have that tone winner. I have the NAD T778, which is a AVR, but also has preamp out. Going from all of those, the biggest difference is the calibration. Right? Yeah. If I turn them all off, no calibration, and I just did a swap from one to the other, and another one is my computer system here. I kind of you've seen it, Chana. I have my own kind of like a setup where the computer is doing all the DSP.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
And so at that point, it's just the signal going in is just being amplified from the amplifiers. The sound difference. What's going to create the sound difference? Right.
The room correction.
That's going to be the biggest thing. Right. Other than that, the signal is just supposed to go in and come out.
Yeah.
Right.
Anthony Grimani, when he and I were talking, and I was telling him about this idea, he said, "Here's what you'll notice with the higher end ones it's really about once you start adding more channels, doing 11 or 13 ear level, doing 6 or 8 height channels, that's when the processor starts to actually get overloaded. So that's when things get, he said, a little wonky depending on which one you have. And he also mentioned that when I have all these different processors, that it's the other thing is ease of use. How hard is it to drive the thing? Drive it meaning how hard is it to use their calibration? How hard is it just to switch inputs? How hard is it to change sound modes? Because apparently he's like, some of them you have to have like a degree in, computer science to do this properly. And so I was like, damn, that's a pain in the ass.
Well,
So
I've spent the past few nights getting this tone winner calibrated. All done manually, so with Magic Beans, but then having to put PEQs for each channel, that takes forever. I can't trust, and I told Amir this at Summit HiFi. So I don't feel like I can trust even the level and the timing from the built-in calibration. Like I'm not even sure if that's correct. So I had to do that manually. That took, another night using the spatial toolkit, playing the test tones, and just getting the timing and levels correct. All manual, right? So not only do I have to do it manually, but getting the information into that thing is also done with the remote. And it made me appreciate Denon or Marantz, where I can just use multi-QX and import the thing. Like that saves me like 2 hours. So like something ridiculous, right? And the fact that I can use Odyssey's timing and levels, like they're pretty good, that saves time. Dirac is even easier because I can really trust the timing and levels, right? Levels I still change, but the timing for sure. And the import method is way faster. And that's kind of what you're paying for. I would imagine on a Trinov, there's even less stuff that you have to do. So what you're actually paying for, I think a lot of times, is the calibration. I keep saying it. You're paying for calibration, and if the process is easy to get your system sounding as good as possible, that's what you're paying for.
Yeah.
So anyway, I think we're pretty good. We're at 1 hour 40 minutes. Anything else you want to say, Elon? Anything new with you? Videos that you're coming up with, new reviews?
Well, actually, Chana, this is news to you too, because this literally happened earlier today.
Ooh, juicy.
Anybody who's in earshot of this, if you are not already following Acoustics on Instagram, please do so, because I just struck a deal with Brian Mitchell, their founder, and I will be basically making at least one reel for them per day for the next foreseeable future.
On Instagram.
On Instagram. Because well, I mean, you could follow me too. Because what sold the idea is that I can put it on my account and then collaborate with their account too, because I'm getting information from their website, but putting it on my channel and their account simultaneously.
Well, congrats on that.
Yeah, good shit,
Yeah.
man.
So I'm just trying to like spread the love, spread the news, because there's always something. There's always news going on.
Oh, you're good at that. You're good at that kind of like quick, I don't know. It's just a different form, right? Those short clips, and I think you're excellent at those.
Yeah.
It's kind of like what you do at the beginning of your videos, right? To get people hooked in. Yeah.
So yeah, it's all just short form content. So if you want little bite size shit like that in part of your day, follow Acoustics, follow me at Elon Osborne.
What happened? I tried to put Acoustics.
Oh, I allowed it. Follow Elon Osborne's channel.
No, the other one. Follow Acoustics.
Oh, tell Brian Mitchell what's up with you're gonna talk about some Magic Beans and Spatial Toolkit or what?
There we go.
You're getting a free shout out here, Brian Mitchell. Acoustics. You better.
Oh yeah, we met him at the show.
I know we hung out for a good amount of time, even after
we did. In the after party.
I haven't forgotten Brian Mitchell.
Big shout out to Elon for putting up with my ass for like 3 days. I know Chana show isn't for the faint of heart. I know people can only take me in little spurts.
It's tiring.
Yeah, dude, I bet.
Nah, it's fun. We have a good time, right?
Oh yeah.
It's a good time. It's a good time.
Yeah, no, it's a good time. And thanks for helping with the filming and stuff like that. It's, you know what? Just filming a reel, that one where I got the champagne out of the vending machine, just having somebody film that was just so awesome. I was just like, oh, so much better, you know?
Yeah, we got to hang out too, Elin. Are you going to go to CEDIA next year or no?
Is it going to be in Denver again, or does it?
I don't know.
Change.
Let's see. CEDIA.
Honestly, hey, Chana, I was Angela sent me the pricing for tickets. She's like, maybe you should just pop over real quick to CEDIA. I'm like, nah, I don't know.
The pricing for tickets? What do you mean, like airline tickets?
Yeah, she sent me because I thought it was going to interfere with some other stuff
That's
that we
what
had
you were talking about. Yeah,
I thought, you know, me and dates, bro. Can't blame me.
You and dates? You have too many dates? Oh, but
dates. So I got it. Yeah, I could have gone. Basically, I could have. So she sent me
in Denver. It's in Denver again.
All right, are you gonna go?
Oh, yeah,
Maybe.
I probably will.
September 3 to 5 is the conference. 4 to 6 is the expo for next year.
All right. So maybe
but I mean, if we're exhibiting, Joe, that means we'd have to be there pretty much all week.
Oh yeah.
So I don't know if you want to do that. But you know what? We need to have a new. If we do that,
whatever we want.
If we do that, yeah, it was like room's closed. Fuck off.
Yeah, like we went to lunch that one time. We just went to lunch.
Yeah, we went to lunch. People were like, we were at your room. Like, well, you must have gone there during lunchtime because we didn't see your ass. Maybe if we do that, we should have another product.
Okay, let's do it.
Demo.
I'm gonna bring like the least expensive system, like least expensive, like all Polk XC20s, and just let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. All right. Sounds good, man. You want to give us our little outro?
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for hanging out with us. This is the Daily HiFi Podcast. We do this every Tuesday, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. If you want to go to the after show, which we'll be jumping into now, join the crew at crew.dailyhifi.com and get into the after show. Of course, if you want to support the channel, make sure you go purchase some merch, baby. Merch. That's a merch dance. I don't know. Go to shop.dailyhifi.com to pick up some merch. And if you don't want to see me eat on camera, make sure you listen to the audio version at anchor.fm/dailyhifi. And of course, if you want to calibrate your home theater, you should use the spatial audio calibration toolkit that Joe was just holding. And you know, it's called, doesn't really roll off the tongue, right? I mean, you know, maybe you need a sacked up or something. Go to spatialcd.com, pick it up. On behalf of myself, Mr. Joe Intel, Aaron, and of course, our guests, Elin and Jordan, Haterade. I'll
put links to their thing in the description.
Yeah, check out its both Elin's channel, the Acoustics Instagram account, and Haterade Cowboy. Yeah, we'll see you in the next one.
See you guys.
Thanks for having me.